I just want to thank everybody. This was a great day.
Michigan just voted to send Donald Trump back to Washington, where he would do exactly what?
We're going to do things that nobody believed. It's going to be more important even than 2016. We are going to make America great again.
Hope springs eternal is a useful sentiment in politics, but has anyone actually looked lately at the Washington blob that Mr. Trump's base expects him to bend to his iron will?
When you talk about America's needs, you have to talk first about our open border. The other big priority for our country, of course, is the funding of our government.
Unless Congress passes a budget, Washington is facing another federal shutdown.
We're very optimistic.
Congress, as we know, holds the constitutionally ordained power of the purse, a power that is the bedrock of a balanced democracy.
Nobody wins from shutting down the government. It's just, I don't know how many times you have to be hit with a bat before you know it hurts.
But instead of exercising this power, our Congress is impotent.
This will go down in history as the least productive, the absolute least productive Congress in the history of the United States of America.
Tragically caught in the impasse are both funding for Ukraine and Israel, and they are both in wars of survival.
The consensus in that room, Zelensky and Ukraine will lose the war if we don't get the arms and don't get them quickly.
Making matters difficult are some 36 House members from the Republican Freedom Caucus. Some want to pull the plug on Ukraine or even accept reduced spending on defense.
We Democrats in the Senate supported a border bill that very conservative groups, including the Border Patrol agents, the Wall Street Journal editorial page, and Chamber of Commerce were for, but said to hold up Ukraine, which, as he admitted, was a national imperative.
Speaking of Washington's impotence, consider the man nominally at the top of the city's power game, Joe Biden.
What would you want to do? What's your 2024 agenda? Because I feel like we live in such crazy times that is one of the things I feel we hear less about.
Look, the 2020 agenda is to finish the job.
Years aside, Mr. Biden has signed into law several major pieces of legislation that are spreading hundreds of billions of dollars into every crevice of the economy, for which he is getting no political credit, despite his party's efforts.
He's got an incredible track record of success. Right. And we just have to connect that track record of success with his vision for the next 4 years.
People can't connect the dots between the cheerful fellow they see in public and this legislative accomplishment.
Got a little cash. Does anybody want ice cream?
The problem is bigger than Joe Biden.
You can turn the cameras. Do you want any?
To most voters, what happens in Washington has become an incomprehensible blur.
When you drain the swamp fights back. And they started attacking the president before the election even.
Opinions vary on the start date for this phenomenon, but I think it began in earnest with the Trump presidency, when the Beltway created a parallel government with one purpose: get Trump.
Why is Donald Trump so enamored of Putin? Well, part of it is he's a wannabe dictator. He has told us that repeatedly.
Many voters on the right, no longer able to distinguish between the 45th presidency they elected and Washington's unofficial war on that presidency, concluded their government was a deep state. Some good conservatives even resigned.
We seem to be in the process of exchanging a republic of self-governing citizens and the virtues of a federalism in which states would tussle and compete, with the vices instead of administrative centralization in which experts from Washington, D.C., who don't have to stand for re-election, would try to impose uniform rules on a diverse continental nation of 330 million people.
Today, Joe Biden and the Democrats inhabit the same black hole of public indifference toward what they do. Donald Trump suggests he's bigger than all of this, but how will he solve Washington's dysfunction, especially if Republicans lose control of the House? Mr. Trump's answer is that he will expand presidential authority, using executive orders, for example, to eliminate civil service protections for recalcitrant bureaucrats.
He says, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" I said, no, other than day one. We're closing the border, and we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator.
But executive orders lack legislative permanence, and using them has become an addictive sugar high. The courts can block or invalidate them, and Mr. Biden reversed dozens of Trump orders. Republicans are having an adrenaline rush over Mr. Trump's march to the nomination.
Thank you.
They should enjoy the campaign because it could be the high point.